Honorable Molapisi. Honorable Molapisi, you have 40 minutes per Rule 64, sub-Rule B. And also you must know that you are leading only one department, unlike Honorable Mir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Speaker of the North West Provincial Legislature, Mmabatho, the Deputy Speaker, Me Mutumi, Honorable Premier Kiaubitsa Bushimape, Honorable members of the Executive Council, Honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, Executive mayors and mayors of our municipalities, members of the mayoral committee responsible for infrastructure and roads in municipalities across our province, administrator of the department, Re Molatemo Remi, senior officials of the department, leadership of our road district forum and our stakeholders, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the people of the Northwest. Deputy Speaker, it is indeed a privilege and honor to stand in this august house to present the budget speech of the Department of Public Works and Roads. The department is presenting the 2022-2023 budget speech at a very difficult time with the country and the province working towards recovering from the two major disasters being the COVID-19 pandemic and the floods that has caused serious damage to our infrastructure. These two disasters have affected the target and gain that we have achieved as a country in a negative way, and we have a responsibility to ensure that we recover from such disasters. As part of the outcome, we are expected as a department to drive province into a recovery mode to ensure economic development through the construction of infrastructure, whilst at the same time making sure that we create the much needed jobs that were lost as a result of the disaster. Our environment is characterized by a number of issues, among them being the following. The La Nina effect, which is in its second consecutive year and bringing about higher rainfall conditions that are affecting our infrastructure program in a negative way and causing a lot of damage on our roads. The COVID-19 pandemic that has taken up a lot of resources towards disaster recovery, while at the same time reducing the much needed financial resources for service delivery. The allocation of the conditional grant, that is the PRMG, which is only meant for maintenance of already upgraded roads, outweighs the capital budget allocated for the upgrading of roads. As a province, we have a huge backlog on the maintenance and upgrading of our roads from gravel to tar surface roads. Our indication in line with our draft road master plan suggests that we have a total of 19,783 kilometer road network, of which 5,125 are paved and the remaining 14,658 are gravel roads. So the PRMG, it's meant to take care of the 14,658 gravel roads in terms of maintenance. The reality of the situation suggests that in terms of our own plan, we will only be able to achieve 500 kilometers at the end of the 10-year period if the allocation from the equitable share remains the same. The 10-year master plan, if it is implemented and approved by EXCO, and there is no increase on the equitable share, it means we would only be able to achieve 500 kilometers in 10 years, 1,000 kilometers in 20 years, and maybe 1,500 kilometers in 30 years. That would be beyond our time. We acknowledge that there are competing interests between rural roads and the economic urban infrastructure that is much needed for economic growth. The competing interest by the private sector, municipalities, and other government departments for scarce technical skills makes it more difficult for our rural province to retain such skills. The high rate of unemployment and the scarcity of business opportunities in the country and the province due to low economic growth and the reduced budget are making our communities to lose patience. Lack of planning by different spheres and coordination, lack of planning and coordination by different spheres of government on infrastructure development often leads to under-expenditure of infrastructure budget in the province. The continued disruption and stoppages of projects by criminal elements masquerading as community leaders and business forum demanding economic opportunities remain a challenge. We have, however, Honorable Deputy Speaker, as a department, tried to devise the means of ensuring that we take our people on board and ensure that as and when we introduce a project, as and when we implement a project, we introduce it to our community members and all the stakeholders. The above, honorable members, are brutal realities that are facing the department that I am entrusted to lead. This calls for openness and transparency as we lay bare the budget to the general public. They should be appreciated as facts that propel us to be able to discharge our constitutional mandate. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in his maiden speech, Honorable Premier Mmabatho placed job creation and service delivery at the apex of his priorities. It therefore automatically makes our department as an infrastructure implementing agent to be a catalyst to attain these priorities without a fail. We dare not fail our people in fulfilling this commitment. Economic recovery remains a serious challenge after the pernicious impact that COVID-19 bore on our ailing economy. The department's overall allocated budget for the 2022-2023 financial year is 3,351,819,000 rand. Program 1, which is administration, it's allocated 203,747,000 rand. Program 2, which is public works infrastructure, it's allocated 1,155,888,000 rand. Program 3, which is transport infrastructure, it's allocated 1,629,577,000. Program 4, which is community-based program, is allocated 390,556,000 rand. Yes. No. Honorable Deputy Speaker, as you may be aware that the department was placed under Section 101B, or is one of the departments that is placed under Section 101B of the Constitution by Cabinet. To this end, the department has, in the past 3 years, been working towards stabilizing its operation with a view to ensure good governance and operational efficiency. The invocation of Section 100 has led to a number of investigations which were conducted by National Treasury and the Special Investigation Unit, or SIU. The National Treasury's investigations, the National Treasury investigation have been concluded, and consequence management is taking place in instances where it was recommended. The SIU is currently in the process of investigating 12 projects relating to upgrading and routine maintenance of roads, as well as the COVID-19 procurement expenditure. These investigations are ongoing, and the reports for such investigation will be released to the public as soon as they are finalized. The department has been receiving a qualified report from the Auditor General in the past 5 years. The audit outcome of the department have been improving in the past 3 years, even though the outcome remains qualified. The department had 5 qualification areas in the past 3 years, and the qualification areas have now been reduced to 1. The qualified audit opinion by the AG is based on one segment, with irregular expenditure being the only qualified matter. This has resulted in the department being issued with an overall qualified audit opinion in the financial year of 2020-2021. Plans to improve the audit outcome have been put in place. Honorable Deputy Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, as part of implementing the exit strategy on Section 101B, we are continuing to build the capacity of the department to deliver. We intend training 25 aspiring artisan, plumbers, and electrical apprenticeship in the past financial year. The training was suspended due to COVID-19 pandemic challenges, which forced the department to reprioritize its plan. This initiative has since been resuscitated for the financial year 2022-2023. Due to provincial budget cuts on the compensation of the employees or COEs, the department had a moratorium on the filling of 180 advertised positions, except for critical and strategic positions. A total of 114 of these posts have been reprioritized for filling in the current financial year after the lifting of the moratorium. We are in a process of finalizing the appointment of the critical strategic positions in the department, which include the position of the head of the department, chief directors for building, facility management, CFO, and the director for the Bojanala district. The position of the head of the department, the CFO, the chief director, building infrastructure, and the director for Bojanala district are due to be filled in by June next month. The rest of the critical positions will be filled in the second quarter of the financial year, as they are already at an advanced level of recruitment. Towards an ethical workforce and combating crime and corruption, 8 disciplinary cases of SMS members related to misconduct have been finalized, and 1 is ongoing. In this regard, the former HOD of the department, the Chief Director for Transport Infrastructure were dismissed. We are continuing to defend the dispute lodged in the bargaining council in this regard. The infrastructure sector in the country and the province has performed very badly in the past 2 years as a result of the COVID pandemic. The sector was severely and detrimentally impacted, and a number of construction projects got drastically delayed, especially projects that were meant to be implemented for clients' department. During the 2021-22 financial year, budgets for infrastructure projects were reprioritized and reduced by user department, and a number of projects could not reach practical completion stage. A number of sites were handed over late to contractors due to lockdown periods, and a number of sites had to reduce staff to ensure compliance with newly introduced health protocols. Contract price escalated as a result of COVID health protocols that needed to be implemented on construction projects, which were not part of the original OHS requirements. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in the year 2021-22 financial year, we completed 4 new school projects to the tune of 134 million on behalf of the Department of Education. We further completed 12 refurbishment and renovation projects to the value of 56.7 million. 14 other projects will be completed in the near future, as these projects are well above 80% completion. For public works projects in this financial year, the department plans to implement and complete the following projects: major upgrades and renovation of Moretele Office Park project during the Q1, which accommodates 9 provincial departments and also render government services in the Moretele area and the surrounding village. 9 new schools projects are planned to be constructed and completed with the rand value of 463,766,000 rand. And they are the following: the Kabalatsane Secondary School, Tlakhamen Secondary School, Tlokwe Secondary School, Tikhane Secondary School, that is phase 2, Kagiso Barolong Secondary School, Monna Mere Primary School, Khetlen Secondary School, Madibo High School. Yes, Mamudibo, thank you, Honorable Member. Mamudibo High Secondary School, Mmabatho Secondary School. 2 new community libraries will be constructed in Dinokana and Volmaranstad and are envisaged to be completed in the Q2. 2 libraries in Mabiskral and Khanyesa will be renovated and expected to be completed in Q4. These facilities will serve as a conduit to access information and learning, encouraging social inclusion and equity while fostering civic engagement within the communities. The department plans to upgrade the Lichtenberg Way Bridge and intend to complete the project in Q3. The renovated facility will ensure the smooth operation of the Way Bridge, which determine the mass of vehicles and trucks, including prime movers and connected trailers. This will also enhance revenue to the province for the defaulters, and our provincial roads will remain in good condition. The department plans to appoint consultants and finalize the design in 2022-23 in order to renovate and upgrade 5 social development facilities that will cater for child youth care, inpatient center, 2 old age home, secure care center, and early childhood development. The new Sifikile Early Childhood Development, the ECD, is planned to be completed during this financial year. The department is working around the clock to resolve the electrical challenges with ESCOM. Furthermore, the upgrades and renovation of 3 offices in the district for social development will ensure that the officials are working in a safe, conducive, and favorable condition and atmosphere. An upgrade to the Pilanesberg perimeter fence, which is phase 2, and Mahikeng Airport ablution facilities are to be completed in Q4. This will ensure the safeguarding of the airport facilities. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in remaining relevant to the mandate of being the sole custodian of the provincial state-owned immovable asset and the implementation and compliance of the Government Immovable Asset Management Act, or GIAMA, I would like to urge and encourage provincial departments to submit their user asset management plans so we can have a credible and completeness of the provincial custodian asset management plan, which is a consolidation of the custodian asset management plan which received from various departments. We are working on finalizing the acquisition of an integrated asset management system in order to fully account for immovable asset management value and ensure compliance with relevant legislation and reporting standard. The department has registered a significant progress in creating a credible and verified record of immovable asset, that is your facility, land, and buildings, for the provincial government. As a result of this, the department has consistently been receiving clean audit with regard to immovable asset register. The department has been conducting vesting and physical verification of urban and rural land parcels, which is aimed at updating the immovable asset register. So far, 317 out of 314 land parcels have been verified, and the process will be concluded in due course. a total of 476 non-core immovable assets in a form of redundant houses and vacant residential sites will be eventually disposed of. We are in a process of disposing 150 houses which were previously advertised as a phase 1 through the local newspapers. The valuation of such houses has been concluded, and as such, the provincial treasury has also endorsed the valuation methodology. This is in line with the provincial revenue enhancement strategy, as well as to mitigate against the increasing property rates and taxes. We have registered the following progress to date on the disposal of non-core immovable assets. 150 houses advertised as first batch, 40 subject to objection and verification, 110 deeds of sale drafted and ready. All agreements of sale were signed duly by myself now recently. Currently, we are engaging with the Office of the State Attorney for transferring and registration of 161 houses advertised as second batch. Desktop verification and assessment was conducted. Valuation has been conducted during the quarter 1 of this financial year. Honorable Deputy Speaker, thus far, the department has transferred a total of 21,446 hectares of land, 21,755 to the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development for settlement of various rural land claims. The following communities have benefited from the above transfer. Bakhatla ba Khafela, 20,308 hectares. Bakhatla ba Mosetla, 358 hectares. Moke Communal Property Association, 347 hectares. Mekhareng CPA, 233 hectares. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I am pleased with a significant increase in the budget allocated for property rates and services as compared to the previous financial years. The department processed payment worth of 356,421,000 rand to 18 local municipalities in the province at the end of the 2021-2022 financial year, out of 390 million that was allocated. 390 million in lieu of payment of rates and taxes against 2,880 provincial-owned properties. We will continue to work with other municipalities such as Rustenburg local municipalities, where 27 properties out of 84 were not paid because they didn't appear in their municipal valuation roll. We are committed to assisting municipalities in ensuring that payment due for rates and services are made timelessly. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the provincial government is planning to acquire a multi-tenancy office complex consisting of an estimated 28,000 square meters around Mmabatho area to strengthen the administration in order to reduce the exorbitant rentals and resolve the long overdue office crisis. This acquisition will cost the province an estimated 320 million, will eliminate the current head office leasing burden of departments. This initiative will bring about a saving of an average of 76 million in year 1 and 245 million over your next MTF period. Discussion with the provincial treasury are at an advanced stage. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the majority of office accommodation leases in the provincial portfolio have been expiring at a faster pace than the department can handle by means of open tender procurement, causing repeated irregular expenditure for all affected line departments. Open tender procurement processes take up to 120 days, often with no guarantee of success. The department has often been forced to rely on short-term lease extension. About 70% of the total provincial lease portfolio are legacy lease, the cost of which has now escalated above what can be considered as a market price. The current state of lease recorded indicates that the private sector markets own 70% of the lease portfolio, whilst government owns only 30%, and this is supposed to be a vice versa. We are working together with the provincial treasury to implement the new lease dispensation that will resolve majority of these historical leases, while at the same time ensuring that the new leases are entered into at the market price. This will alleviate the burden of irregular lease that we are currently running in the province. Honorable members, in responding to our mandate, the department will be implementing a phased approach of the total facility management program. I have been inundated with calls and complaints by honorable members, especially from Lowe, Harona, members of the executive, the embassy VIP section. I am pleased to report or announce that the department has already made intervention to restore the essential services at Khalowe, which include supply of water, electricity, electrical problems and other essentials. The feedback received indicate that the majority of members are pleased. Similar intervention will be done in other prestige precincts, and we will keep on improving as we go on. And I must, Honorable Deputy Speaker, indicate that it was an intervention led by the MEC and the administrator, and we managed to attend to this without outsourcing any of the services. The department has appointed DBSA to pilot the implementation of the total facility management for the above-mentioned buildings. A budget has been made available for the project, and it is intended to start in the first quarter of this financial year. This program of the total facility management is aimed at optimizing the efficiency of the maintenance, asset, and operation of the state-owned facility and equipment, whilst we build our own internal capacity. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the road infrastructure allocation of 380 million from the equitable share remain insufficient, and it goes without saying that the province will not be able to reach its developmental goal of upgrading roads across the province from gravel to surface standard. We can here state unequivocally that the current funding basket has an innate buffer against the attainment of massive road upgrading across the province. With the current funding formula and the road upgrade costs from surface to tar, indications are that only 53 kilometers of the presently unpaved road network can be upgraded in the current financial year. This gives us an average of 6 to 7 roads which can be upgraded per annum, depending on their length in kilometers, and thus leading to an average of 500 kilometers in 10 years, which I alluded to earlier on, unless we take a Bermuda approach where we give each community a 5 kilometer, which will then cover a number of roads. Against this background, Honorable Deputy Speaker, we need to strengthen efforts to establish strategic partnership with the private sector to raise additional funding for upgrading of the roads. In its 1996 discussion document entitled The State and Social Transformation, the governing party emphasized the need for mobilization of the surplus both domestically and internationally. Whilst acknowledging that the relationship with the private sector will sometimes be an antagonistic with the interest of the people, The document further acknowledges that what stands out as the defining element that enables the strategic partnership between the democratic state and capital is the progress achieved through new investment to create the capacity to improve material condition. Towards this end, I plead with the private sector further to be part of this initiative when we consult on the 10-year road master plan to which we earlier alluded to. Needless to say, we have made strides in securing partnership with individual business and partake in the premier strategic efforts with the North West Chamber of Commerce. In the circumstances, a partnership agreement has been reached with North West Corporation, NWK, and the department wherein the NWK has pledged to buy graders to assist with the blading of roads in Ngaka Modiri Molema and Dr. Ruth Sekgomotse Mompati. This is most welcome as it will augment the Yellow Fleet plant which we already have. A public-private arrangement has been finalized also with Bogosi Jwaba Palani Bagara Mokoka through Batlase Development Trust in the Moses Kotane local municipality. They will contribute 20 million rand for the upgrading from gravel to tar of the road D514 between Bojating and Pelkop, and I'm happy to announce that in our midst we have Khosi Ramokoka as a confirmation of this arrangement. He's there somewhere in the gallery. It was with a sense of regret, I must say, to note that the department only spent 68% of the allocated conditional grant, which is the PRMG, by the end of March 2022. On the total allocated budget, resulting in us making a request for rollover of 291.6 million. The rolled over funds will still be used in the current financial year to implement the delayed projects. At this point, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I want to quote the Premier during his SOPA State of the Address. The Premier said, and I quote, "The performance and the capacity of the provincial department and state-owned entities to deliver on the infrastructure mandate has not been good, if not unsatisfactory. The underspending of infrastructure expenditure and loss of conditional grant allocation to the National Revenue Fund is to be addressed as a matter of urgency. We will revive the Premier's Infrastructure Coordinating Committee to assess readiness of projects to be implemented in the 2022-2023 financial year. The structure will strengthen the hand of political heads of departments to hold accounting officers managing infrastructure allocation accountable for failure to deliver on projects. We want to see the ratio being 20% planning and 80% implementation on infrastructure projects," close quote. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we want to hold, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we want to wholeheartedly agree with the Premier. We cannot allow officials of department to underperform and have under expenditure. Although we understand some of the reasons, but we also understand and cannot accept where we have failed because we understand the implication in as far as the service delivery is concerned. Some of the challenges that we had was the low expenditure performance was as a result of project late start or award due to procurement challenges, litigation, and delays in issuing of work permits by the Department of Labor. In order to cap the under expenditure, the following will be considered: an improved procurement strategy of using numerous committees and or looking into other alternatives to ensure that supply chain responsibilities its performance is improved. Ensure program plans are aligned with the APP and IDMs as to avoid underperformance. We'll be interacting with the Department of Labor to ensure that work permits are issued within 30 days as prescribed. In the Honorable Deputy Speaker, in the 2021-2022 financial year, we completed 11 projects to the value of 498.5 million, comprising of 5 capital projects, upgrades, and 6 special maintenance projects, and I will later go on to these projects. We had advertised 12 projects in the past financial year, and I'm pleased to inform you that we will be continuing with the implementation of all those, including the 2 additional roads, bringing to the total of 14 projects to the combined value of 1,668 million rand to be implemented in this current financial year, and this includes, among others, the rehabilitation of road P31/1 Gauteng border, Pelindaba to P123/1 in Hartebees, rehabilitation of road P117/1 from Ottosdal, P13/2 to Hartebees, pothole patching in large section of road P23/1 from Suez-Reneke to Volmarastad, approximately of 37.19 kilometer, upgrading from gravel to surface standard of road D479 from Kunotswana village to T-junction of N4 and Tweefontein, approximately 27 kilometer, which is phase 3 of 11 kilometer. Upgrading from gravel to surface standard of road D208, 206, 209 from Mantle through the village of Pitsong, Dikuting, Graspan. Upgrading from gravel to surface in consultation with the Department of Agriculture, the Kora project, which we could not do last year. Block paving of road Z473 from road D3545, road D41 in Ditako, rehabilitation of road D933 from Lichtenberg to Gelexpan, and a portion of road D2 2095 to road P183 passing through Dadefeld and Sepaku mines. Special maintenance of road 109, that is Betani, in Bretz. Special maintenance on section of Nelson Mandela Road between Denville. These are some of the projects that the Premier pronounced, and data motorists in Mafikeng, approximately a 4-kilometer road. Pothole patching and resealing of road D604 and Z607 Makaunyane. Special maintenance of lower Majakoro, approximately of 2.5 kilometer, and upper Majakoro, approximately with the same kilometer, and regraveling of road D1643 from Moodville to Ratzagai. These are some of the roads, the 40 projects that we will be pursuing, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we have seeded some of the roads, in particular in N12, to Sanral for special maintenance, and this was due to the capacity. So Sanral will take over these roads to continue with the maintenance. I must indicate that progress so far is that professional consultants have been appointed to start with the design on some of the roads that I've alluded to, including upgrading from gravel to surface standard to tar of road in Gamokhatla to 8 gig, upgrading from gravel to surface standard to tar of Mudimung to Taung, and the one of the Nelson Mandela Road between Denville and Dada Motors that I've just alluded to. Work opportunities envisaged from this infrastructure sector is estimated at creating 12,675 work opportunities. This will also yield economic spin-offs for our SMMEs. What we will not accept, Honorable Deputy Speaker, and which we are considering, is to not empower our local people in the province and continue spending money outside the province. We really need to look into how do we ensure that people of the Northwest continue to benefit from these opportunities. We continue to explore the use of alternative building material for the construction of roads. The following methods were considered: the use of slag, a byproduct of ferrochrome, for regraveling is still to be used. The use of plastic roads for road construction. This technology will still be tested on a smaller stretch of roads, and discussions are ongoing with the suppliers. We had tried to pilot and use the polymer roads, a nanotechnology for dust suppression and seal the material. This failed the test, and we can no longer use these roads. We are in discussion with Treasury to look into the database on other alternative available materials so that we can also use this other option. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the department had a target of 13,000 EPWP work opportunities to be created jointly under the Transport and Public Works Infrastructure for 2021-2022 financial year. By the end of the financial year, the National EPWP preliminary report indicates that the department has managed to create 13,857 work opportunities. The target that the department set for itself exceeds the national approved EPWP phase. Maybe we need to review the target. Either maybe the target was low. This Honorable Deputy Speaker, the 2021-2022 financial, the 8,989 for the 2021-22 financial year. This was made possible by the introduction of the contractor development, which we are also to pursue this financial year in terms of the Vukupile contractor development phase 2. The Itirele Road maintenance program, the National Youth Service or NYS, the COVID screening, just to name but a few. This goes to show that the department is dedicated to the uphold the objective of the EPWP. The mandate of 3 core performance areas, namely 1, employment creation, acquiring work-based skills and workplace experience, enhancing their potential to find future work in the formal or informal sector. Income support, earning an increased income and improving their social security. 2, 3, development of community assets and the provision of services benefiting from improved services delivery and the delivery of infrastructure in their communities through labor-intensive construction method. To date, 100% of the EPWP integrated grant allocation of 20,200,000 has been spent. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in addressing the challenges of unemployment and the skills development that can respond to the needs of the province, the department would like to report to the successful completion of the apprenticeship program for 207 learners. Learners in brick making, painting, deco, and carpentry. Furthermore, 47 electrical participants are still to undergo trade tests. Amidst the high unemployment rate, the department prides itself as these learners were given accredited training, will exit the program with the necessary skills that open door for them in the job market. A ceremony for awarding successful apprenticeship learners with trade test certificate is planned for the June 2022. Being an EPWP coordinating department within the province, the department has started to engage with infrastructure department that are under reporting to assist during the planning and design phase of the projects in order to align their tendering and procurement process to the EPWP. This intervention will ensure that all departments are reporting accordingly, and the province will thus reach its performance target. To this end, the National Department of Public Works and Infrastructure and Provincial Public Works and Roads have provided municipalities with templates on how to develop policies, including roles and responsibility, as well as capacity building for proper EPWP implementation at municipal level for adoption by municipal councils. Some councils have already adopted these policies, but have not translated to improvement in terms of your EPWP outputs. The Department of Public Works and Infrastructure and Roads, both nationally and provincially, have provided municipalities with technical support inclusive of engineers and technicians, the provision of technical support to those public bodies includes the following areas: developing plans to meeting targets, identifying suitable projects and programs, designing of projects and programs, implementation support and reporting. This includes assisting from the ILO advisors. Madam Deputy Speaker, as a responsible department, we agree with the conclusion by the recently released National Infrastructure Plan of 2050 released by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure in March 2022 in its resolve that infrastructure development is critical to attaining South Africa's long-term economic and social goals. In the context of a developing country seeking significant structural change, the public sector must lead this effort. Public infrastructure investment is central to achieving greater productivity and competitiveness, reducing spatial inequality and supporting the emergence of new job creation sectors. It is therefore one of the non-negotiable foundations of transformation. This notwithstanding, as we conclude, we implore all our people and public representatives to work with us to ensure the safety of the limited infrastructure that we have placed at their disposal for their consumption. I would like to take this opportunity, Madam Deputy Speaker, to thank the Premier Bushimape, for his continued guidance and support, my colleagues, members of the Executive Council. I am sending my gratitude to the Speaker of the Provincial Legislature, Mayor Basetsana Danji, and yourself, Deputy Speaker. Sincere gratitude is due to the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Mayor Kim Midupi, and members of the committee for always keeping us in check in ensuring that we deliver quality and sustainable services to the people of the province. I would like to thank the administrator, Ndate Moremi, and his team of senior managers, staff in my office, and the entire departmental staff. Your dedication to service delivery is greatly appreciated, and I wish to extend my appreciation to my wife and the family for their undying, consistent, and support and love. I don't know if I would manage to discharge my responsibility if it were not of you. I'm greatly humbled by the movement of the people, and my sincere gratitude goes to the African National Congress, my political home, for its belief in me by consistently demonstrating their trust in me to discharge its mandate. We are not moving on our own. In you, we move, and we have been to the lender of breath. I am grateful, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Mulapisi. Thank you very much, Honorable Mulapisi. Honorable members, While we are still waiting for Honorable Molapisi, I will now call on the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Community Safety and Transport Management and Public Works and Roads, Honorable Midupi, to lead the debate. Honorable Midupi, you are allocated only 10 minutes.